Everyone, my name is Harshita Jain and I'm currently an intern at Lexis & Company. Today I'm going to talk about different types of companies. So it's going to be an interesting topic for the people interested in company law. So let's begin. First of all, what is a company? A company is defined under Section 2, Subclause 20 of the Companies Act of 2013. So it states that a company means a company incorporated under this act or under any previous company law. Commonly, a company may be defined as an incorporated association, which is an artificial person having a separate legal entity with a perpetual succession and a common seal, if any, and a common capital, compromise of transferable shares and limited liability. Now, what are the different types of companies? First classification is on the basis of incorporation. So, on the basis of incorporation, there are companies, two types of companies: statutory companies and registered companies. So, first, what is a statutory company? These companies are constituted by a special act of parliament or state legislature. These companies are formed mainly with an intention to provide public services, for example, like the Reserve Bank of India or Life Insurance Corporation of India, like public service companies. Now, the second type is registered company. Companies registered under the Companies Act of 2013 or under any previous company law are called registered companies. Such companies comes into existence when they are registered under the Companies Act and a certificate of incorporation is granted to it by the registrar. Now, second classification is on the basis of the liabilities. So, first under this comes first the companies. Under this, there are three categories. First, companies limited by shares. So, this a company that has the liability of its members limited by the memorandum to the amount, if any, unpaid to the shares respectively held by them is termed as company limited by shares. Now, for example, we can take like a shareholder who has paid 75 on a share of a face value 100 can be called upon to pay the balance of 25 only. So, companies limited by share are by far the most common and may be either public or private. Now, second is the companies limited by guarantee. Companies limited by guarantee is a company that has the liability of its members limited to such amount as the members may respectively undertake by the memorandum to contribute to the assets of the company in the event of its being wound up. Like in the case of such companies, the liability of its members is limited to the amount of guarantee undertaken by them. Now, clubs or trade associations, research associations, or societies for promoting various subjects can be taken as examples of guarantee companies. Now, third comes the unlimited liability companies. A company not having a limit on the liability of its members is termed as unlimited company. Here, the members are liable for the company's debts and in proportion to their respective interests in the company, and their liability is unlimited. Now, such companies may or may not have share capital, and they may be either public company or a private company. Now, the third type of classification is the types of companies on the basis of number of members. Now, in this we have two categories: public company and private company. So, public company, this is defined under section 2 subclause 71 of the Companies Act 2013. A public company means a company which is not a private company. Second, in this is section 3(1) of the Act states that the public company may be formed for any lawful purpose by 7 or more persons. This is to be noted that 7 or more persons are required to form a public company. Then section 149 subclause 1 of the act states that every public company shall have minimum 3 directors on its boards. These are the specific conditions or specifications that are required to form a public company. Now section 41A of the act states that a public company is required to add the words limited at the end of its name. Okay, it is the essence of a public company that its shares and debentures can be transferable freely to the public, unlike private companies. Only the shares of a public company are capable of being defied in on a stock exchange. A private company, that is a subsidiary of public company, will be considered as a public company. Now, what is a private company? This is defined under section 2 subclause 68 of the Companies Act 2013. A private company means a company which by its articles first restricts the right to transfer its shares, second limits the number of its members to 200, except in the cases of OPC. OPC is one person company, which I'm going to discuss after this. So now some of the specifications for a private company are section 3 subclause 1 of the act states that private company may be formed for any lawful purposes by 2 or more persons. Now section 149 subclause 1 of the Companies Act 2013 states that every private company shall have minimum 2 directors on its board. Now section 4, another exception in this is section 4(1)(a). I would rather not say it an exception, a condition or a specification, is that section 4(1)(a) of the act states that a private company is required to add the words private limited at the end of its name. Now, private companies enjoy several privileges and exceptions under the Companies Act. Now, we're going to discuss what is one person company, OPC. With the enactment of the Companies Act 2013, they came out to be several new concepts that were introduced, and that was not in existence in the previous Companies Act, that was of 1956, which completely the Act of 2013 completely revolutionized the corporate laws in India. One of such was the introduction of the OPC. OPC is one person company. This led to the avenue for starting businesses, giving flexibility which a company form of entity can offer, while also offering limited liability that a sole proprietorship or partnerships do not offer. This is defined under section 2 subclause 62 of the Companies Act 2013. One person company means a company which is only one person as the member. Section 3 subclause 1 of the act states that OPC as a private company may be formed for any lawful purposes by one person. Then section 149 subclause 1 of the act states that OPC shall have a minimum of one director on its board. The sole member can also be the director of such OPC. Now some specific features are like what is single member. OPCs can have only one member or shareholder, unlike other private companies. Now in this, what is a nominee? A unique feature of OPCs that separates it from other kinds of companies is that the sole member of the company has to mention a nominee while registering the company. Since there is only one member in an OPC, his death will result in the nominee choosing or rejecting to become its sole member. This does not happen in other companies as they follow the concept of perpetual succession. Now, some of the OPCs enjoy several privileges and exceptions under the Companies Act. Now, the last classification is on the basis of the domicile. Hmm. First, in this comes foreign company and Indian company. What is a foreign company? This is defined under Section 2, Subclause 42 of the Companies Act 2013. Foreign company means any company or body incorporated outside India, which first has a place of business in India, whether by itself or through an agent, physically or through electronic mode. Second, conducts any business activity in India or in any other manner. Section 379 to Section 393 of the Companies Act 2013 prescribes the provisions which are applicable to such companies. Now, Indian company, simply a company that is formed and registered in India, is known as Indian company. So that's it for this. If there are any questions, any doubts, do mention them in the comment box. I'll be happy to answer them. Thank you for watching.